right, everybody, let's get to it. Big things to cover today. And let's start with the number one issue market of the day, NVIDIA. Welcome to 2024. Welcome to 2024. NVIDIA is the stock of this bull market. You can't deny it. It's interesting because I think about what's happening and how it's unfolding, and it's really starting to feel like Nasdaq 1996, 97 with this AI stuff and the dot versus dot com mania, and it can go on a lot longer than anyone really can imagine. And that's what you're seeing here. That's what you're seeing. Nvidia, well, from a measured move perspective, it's not something we haven't considered, which is a massive weekly 314 extension to 845, 850. Clearly, remember the 1618? And this is a great market to follow because, look, we hit the 1618, we paused. That's what this triangle was all about. 1618 pause, an oversold reading at a very high level led to your next leg. And this whole next leg concept is going to become increasingly important for other markets, other issues that are setting up in the same way, getting ready to go. And that could be AI, semiconductors, tech stocks, crypto. You are so right there that we have to get on it now because it's going to be too late. In about 4 weeks, it's going to be too late. And I, before I do the deep dive on this AI stuff, listen, everything is dictated by our QQQ 1618 plan. First, we take out the shark, and first we have to get some kind of yellow dot confirmation at a minimum. But until that happens, we are just continuing on this rope to 445. And that's a first stop on this whole march off of from 2020 October lows. The march began 2023 first quarter, we know that, and breaking out to new all-time highs in dramatic fashion. I mean, this isn't the first big 500-point day we've seen, 400-point day. But all of this is reinforcing the underlying argument that the 1618 on the QQQ at 502 or 500 or 505 is where we're going now. We are going to 500 now. You're 436. Where do you jump on? Every 4-hour oversold opportunity signal is a buy. Okay? And I probably want to break that down to every hourly so we don't miss. You had some things, yellow dots, last 2 days. Also, this is something I posted to my folks yesterday. And it was a tough one, but we had a big bat pattern that just scraped the hop, and then the pre-market set it free. So this is a massive continuation. I think QQQ 445 now is probably the objective. Take a look at what just happened about an hour ago. Listen, big push on the open, and then another bullish QQQ continuation. 5-minute chart. Real time. It's just massive. I would not be surprised to see this thing, go 440 by tomorrow, easy. And Qs are up 11 and change. But, ways to go. Ways to go. I mean, even look, the 440s are tomorrow are 80 cents. and you got a ton of time. I mean, you got the rest of the day, you got all tomorrow. There's nothing but up. So let's dive into NVIDIA and some of those other AI opportunities because, look, ever since the daily chart on, check it out. Oh, and this is the other absolutely insane thing about NVIDIA. Today is a bullish continuation day. It's a bullish continuation day on the daily because HSI popped out of the zone. We were talking about that as well yesterday. And that's going to pivot out. It's exactly what it did. So on the daily, go ahead. Just buy it. Run it. It's the first continuation signal we've seen since November. And then the other prior one was October. So there's been 3 of these in 6 months, 5 months. And it's going to go. That continues. Weekly time frame for NVIDIA, I think the obvious 314 all-time extension. Okay, because this thing's going parabolic. What you're seeing here is a market go parabolic, which means a 314 is a minimum. We hit the 2618 and are just blowing through it. 2618 is like here. And you're using this like a scale. I mean, you're projecting the harmonic levels, 2618, tell me what's happening, blowing through. 314, next stair step level, that puts you 845. That's another 70 higher. And then 3618, those are the next levels, objectives. That's 960. I think 960's fair game right now. Talk to me in the next whatever 90 days, certainly by the summer. You heard it here first, 940. And that's just one of many where things are getting interesting. So, folks, if you are a buy-side trader, which about 99% of us are, you're coming into one of the hottest environments in 25 years. What do you think of that? And it's just starting. What do you think of that? The tech move and the acceleration has only started. Euphoria, sure, why not? That can go on for a long time before any kind of a crazy top. Not to mention, we're looking at minimum 1618s on the Qs and SPY, all of that, led by the semiconductors, which I've been saying for more than a year. That's the place to be. And now you're seeing it. And this can go on for a long time. I mean, it doesn't. Just because we were at 300 and these weekly oversolds, those were massive. Don't forget the bat pattern down here. Right down there at 400, 410. Led to the massive continuation. Okay, you missed it. No worries. Let's find the others. Because this is not a one-off deal. And let's go find the ones that have yet to break out, yet to do all-time price discovery moves. NVIDIA's one, and yeah, we'll just keep buying 4-hour pullbacks. But there's others. Really quick, SMH, probably an ETF that you just want to be buying and holding. Because the weekly clearly broken out. And I want to address this because the one challenge with a lot of the patterns we've seen, here you go. No doubt we had patterns in the fall of 2022 everywhere. Big tech semiconductors, Meta, Microsoft, Tesla, Amazon, Google, they were all there. And they blew through their type 1 targets, minimums, and had bearish patterns retesting. Okay, you have to know that at this point, or even that point, which was only 4 weeks ago, you have an official failure, if you will, to break out of the software of the of the hop level, hop automatic top end generated level that the software kicks out. Okay, beyond that point, you're saying this whole thing is busted, and you do assume, which we just hit. Okay, we're going for that 1618. That 1618 is, sorry, on SMH. There you go. SMH is like 225. And that happens now too. So stay with that. I don't see that turning anytime soon. Your daily is just steady uptrend. It's powerful. And the monthly, I would say, when they talk price discovery really is when you get past the 1618. That's 220, 230. Yes, we're at all-time new highs, and it technically, yes. But think of it like this. If we were to go back in history, and this is the SMH ETF, which has only been around for 25 years, 23 years. But if you were going to just kind of make this assumption, there's a cycle recovery, and it goes to the 1618, which is what you should assume at certain points, and it blows right through, well, then you've got more to go. That's where we are. I mean, let's take it now where the 1618s are our minimum targets. These are minimums, and expect them to blow through. This is the bullish scenario we talked about last summer. Pretty remarkable stuff. I mean, it's just we haven't seen a massive breakout like this in probably a decade. Last time it was like 2015, 16, all the way back here. Couple of other sympathy plays that NVIDIA, are leading the way on. ARM is an IPO that they launched here where, bottomed out at 40, did this crazy move up to 160. Shorts got caught. I'm watching that because, again, you're in price discovery mode. Go to the 4-hour charts here. I need to see stuff like this. So I'm closely monitoring those kind of situations. Other obvious plays like AMD. Here you go. I mean, we got I got an HSI yesterday on the 4-hour, and remember, look, this is not even this is up pushing up against this shark pattern, which is a big hop level at 184.52. We just had a little reaction. Listen, we got into it the other session about what was going on here. The reaction, it was just an initial reaction. The confirmation didn't even come in until a week ago, Friday. And now you're retesting that zone. Other than any reaction, that's all I expect here. You got stuff like this going on with AMD that as long as this is still in the overbought and stays up there, okay, it's not ready to roll. But 184.50, that's a critical point, and we could do something like AMD, like AMAT did, AMAT did, where it's just blown through its big level, its big hop level. Now at 220, and just target these continued moves, 1618s across the board. Like, there you go. 220, 222. It's that big. I'm impressed beyond belief. I really am. I think it's even stuff like Broadcom Okay, go to their weekly chart. Or just people are talking about NVIDIA. Broadcom is ripping it. The other one was ASML, which I think is, when you got stuff like this, ASML, and it's barely broken out. I mean, it's breaking out, obviously, but look, this has got more of a butterfly formation because of 786 at your B point. But I would be looking for that minimum 127 or even an overspill move to like a 142. You're talking 1,000, 1150 area. So absolutely impressive stuff happening. NVIDIA is just another one. Oh, here's the one that's on my window now. SMCI up. What is that? Up 145 today with a 4-hour HSI. So look, SMCI. You want to speculate to the upside on some crazy stuff? Go ahead. There you go. Because that HSI on the 4-hour is massively important. There you go. And this is a big complex structure returning. So I just think things are going to get super crazy. Look at the daily. The daily's about to generate. Yikes. What could we expect from something like this? If that is, I mean, it's a tough one because it's already up 145 today off of yesterday's low, but we're going to get a continuation signal. Okay. SMCI. Just project a 1618. I mean, if we're in that kind of a crazy speculative move, and we are, that's not a high risk assessment. Same as what we saw with NVIDIA, and these other kind of stocks are really starting to go on just be fire now. And that's real price discovery. You almost have to keep an eye on like the market cap and assume that $1 trillion is that's the magic number. In my opinion, that's the magic number. Let me come back to that. We'll do I'll come back to that because I wanted to look at market caps, but a lot to get into. SMCI, you heard it here. Now, one or two others that are really the chip manufacturers. Here's KLA Corp, KLAC, weekly or actually monthly. I mean, these are remarkable. So until we see some kind of monthly trigger, and this is running up now, KLA, you're going to have to get oversold. Or sorry, overbought by going into the zone. That's probably a few more months. And take a look at what's happening here. Amplified, it's a lot like where we were back in 2021. Overbought, yes, but continuing to hang up in the zone, and you see what price action did. Just continued steady climb. That's what's happening. I'm impressed. I mean, you got a lot of different things here. Here's a crab. Okay, weekly crab. Another big crab pattern, another big bearish pattern. But where's the confirmation? And we're seeing this. Look, it happens more so, in my opinion, on long-term patterns. But you get a straight-on blow-through type 1, no reaction. It's rare. Like a type 1 failure, it's rare. But if you don't have confirmation, which you don't, you really haven't generated anything close in HSI, there's the completion. You have to wait. Got to be patient on that. And you're 674, trying to push that hop level. The other one was, sorry, let me go to my list here. What was it? It was Lam Research, LRCX. Okay, that's a failure. And you just have to go on the fact that the pattern failed back at 792, now 939. Uh, all of these, you're assuming straight shot on the trend line, 1618s. Now, I mean, by the end of literally next month, to hit that 1618, there you go. That's 1,000. That's right at 1,000. And it's not a heck of a lot to say, oh, 1,000, it's only 6% from current levels. But think of it in terms of targets as a minimum objective at this point, it's a magnet pulling it closer. Couple others. Let's look at the SPY real quick, because SPY, everything is running in junction 505. This is beautiful. Remember, like the rest, it's just we are in a seedy leg weekly of a deep crab. 1618 is 565. Yeah, 565. Yeah. That's where you are. You're in the CD leg of a deep crab on the weekly, minimum 565. So within every week, you pretty much are going to see higher lows. Mostly higher highs too, but higher lows are the key. We went back last week, retested lows, and now we continue that move. It just acting the way it should. Once you break out of your B point, your BAM, the whole BAM structural framework. Look, B point there, it was the breakout, and the breakout came, believe it or not, the breakout was not until second week of December, and now we make that run. I think it's, let's call it July or August, but it's something that happens by the end of the summer. Maybe even to September 21, but you go 505 to 565. So keep an eye on that. That's the continuation. It's big stuff. And maybe it seems bigger than it should, because this is the realization of what we've been talking about since last summer. And really October, of saying with the SPY, 411, 412 down here, that was everything. That C point, that was at a 382. Everything has unfolded ideally. And I would even argue that this final run, this closing this gap between March, April, May, June, happens more quickly than even this. And this has been remarkable. So we should see bigger things happen. A price expansion proportionally. Let's keep an eye on that one. Big stuff. What was the, oh, well, really quick. One or two of the big stocks like Meta. Listen, I talked about why this was going to 560. It's at 1618 as well. It's almost at 500. The weekly's trying to put in an oversold HSI, but that's just the start. Look at the insane amplified reading at 103. That's strength. When you get that register reading that high, that's a breakout on the weekly reading. So, next week I'll talk market capitalization on these companies. Meta's now like a $1.5 trillion market cap. There's your 1618 on Meta. It goes to 570. 570 on is the 1618 on Meta. That's the target for this move. But you need to think about where are these going to be market cap wise. Gets to 570 from current levels. All right, yeah, that puts you at $2.5 trillion. Is that possible? How big can these companies get? Speaking about big companies, Microsoft, it's just a matter of time. Just bouncing off of 400, trying to make 400 the support. And I like it. We just registered some 4 hour daily, 4 hour HSI signals right down there, right at like 398. Now 409. All right, that's a high level within that pattern. I would suspect we go back and run to that hop at 426 really soon. There's not bearish signals here either, even during this pause. It's, if you were just to identify what's going on here on the 4 hour basis, a lot of these have already reached oversold readings, letting out a lot of air after a big move, getting ready for what's likely to be yet another. Final one, look, Apple. I think Apple and Tesla are two that have yet to do much. But as we've seen with a lot of crypto, they don't all happen at the same time. So that's the thought here. Apple giving us a daily HSI today, folks. That's a new development. Right at 182. What is it? We're thinking shark to 50. 182, and then Apple, with the help of today's HSI, start the march, come on back to this 195 area, maybe even make your run to all-time highs. And Tesla, same deal. I just think it's, came in, hit some resistance, trying to get off that Gartley. A few overbought, like this thing, it popped up and hit an HSI, but I think that's just a temporary move. I'm still wanting to see 222.50 before this goes down. This short term is up. Short term is up for that. All right, let's jump over to Bitcoin and the big boys. I think it's been a really interesting 48 hours. We've seen some things move. I think the takeaway is that the whole delayed effect of certain coins moving, others now showing themselves. So really interesting for where we are in the cycle. So here's Bitcoin on the daily, showing a couple of dots with some resistance. It's related. I don't know if you guys can see that, to here and here, those two signals. So maybe a pause up here at 52. So let's see. But that's all, I would imagine. Weekly time frame, we're still looking for a B point. Been mentioning this, and I think what we want to see is B point, okay, at the 886. That would be the max number, by the way. 63.5. I said 63, 64, something like that. We might even see like an 85%. But I think 60 is the number. Right now, you're at a 707. 707 is like right there. Around 54. So any pauses in here, that's all. Take a look. Again, this is weekly. But HSI, amplified, they're still in the still up. The amplified is in the overbought, but holding in. And no matter what, this is the interesting thing for the weekly chart. If we get a B point, let's say we get, and this is within the whole long-term plan, we're still looking for a B point. A B point for the bigger W to launch Bitcoin to 105,000, where the 1618 sits. We really could get a nice setup here where maybe this rolls over in a few weeks, goes to the 50 level, and maybe that's at the 886 at like 63. I'm just speculating, just kind of like thinking what are the only possibilities here, and then you do the launch. Then this is a moon phase. So we're not even in moon phase yet. And the halving and everything kind of makes sense. Keep an eye on that. A lot to consider. The big thing that I'm thinking about, where are we in a week? Where does this monthly candle close? It's important to mention this. We'll talk a lot about it next week. But just so you know, last month's high was 49K. Seems like a foregone conclusion. You need to close above 49.50K for a lot of reasons. And then here's your 886. You this was the month where you really set it off. It is to date the biggest monthly candle in terms of price since the bottom. And you're getting real close. There's the 886. 63,000. And you're 51.7, 52. So doing that in another month or two, not a crazy thing to ask. And then can you do a 382 to get going? And we'll know. Listen, at least we have been on the right side, long side for this 48.6, pause, breakthrough. Now, next step up. And we'll see. So that's the focus no matter what for this leg, this move, this segment. You have some things where at least we could pause. We could pause. We could go sideways at 50, 51 for a little while. Wouldn't be a thing. The thing that is really moving that I think is going to play catch up now, and we've talking about it, is Ethereum. Why now? Why not? I mean, this is it. Ever since there's a lot of pattern reasons why, and ever since the daily, there you go, these signals, those oversold signals within the bearish zone. We were thinking go back to the hop. It blew right through, hit 3,000. 3,000 is just a number like 50,000. Then you look, we got to pull it back here and say, well, this pattern has failed. That crab pattern has failed, especially with that signal and that blow through. And the bigger targets, we've talked about this, are 3,400. And that's what Ethereum's baked in to do now. Hold on. Hold on. Let me get the right. Where's my crab pattern? It's funny. These are generating bat patterns. And we've been looking at the crab. Look, it's all about this crab. That's what we've been talking about from the beginning. Target 2 is 33.98, 3,400. And remember, we are to be comparative to where Bitcoin is. The 618 is 33.50. So if we were at the 70 mark where Bitcoin is now, you're talking 3,700. So don't be surprised. It's coming around. It's been coming around for the last 2 or 3 weeks. And continues. Speaking of continuing, markets are at highest of the day. Looking for 445. I think by tomorrow. Get the follow through. It's certainly by the end of the month. It's just chip shot from here. Couple others, big ones. We haven't talked about Binance Coin and talk about price recovery there. Just to kind of highlight that it really is spreading out. I'm fairly impressed with the last 30 days. Here's Binance Coin. Remember the shark pattern down at what was it, 300, 290. It's a weekly. Let's blow it up. There you go. So this is getting interesting as well after not doing anything for really up until October, November. And then in the last couple of weeks, finally breaking out of the range. Can we do something like this for Binance Coin? And some kind of swing 886? It wouldn't really be a stretch. There are a number of things that are probably better vehicles with more speculative upside than that, but pretty firm, pretty interesting. Check out Filecoin, folks. I think this one and ICP. They're starting to get ready to bust a move. And look, we're trying to break out above that prior pattern, these prior highs at 8. And I'll go through a couple of things where we're not surprised by this. It's just, again, a matter of time. And there are a lot of bullish zones at, $5.50, $5. And even with Filecoin, look, you have other patterns that are 9.30. So this long-term base easily can, once you break that, you break above 9.50, $10, you go straight to 20. So speculative wise, there's room to run here. And we've seen that in, we've seen that in things like remarkable things like, look at Fetch AI. Remember that? Fetch AI. Take a victory lap on something like that, because listen, talking now in official price discovery at 120, we were at 17 cents back in the fall. Literally, this one and AGIX. And AGIX literally was 25 cents last week. Now it's hit 75. And it was a big Gartley that we talked about ever since Fetch and came down. We were looking for a retest at the 886. Remember this? Go from like 25 back to 38. It just blow through to 75. And now look at the weekly chart. It's that's an impressive weekly chart. Let me get one with longer data feed. So this whole AI crypto thing is obviously because of NVIDIA's starting to go now. Yeah, a couple others in the A region. I'm looking at, well, there's Cardano. Cardano is interesting because we have this weekly crab pattern where we know 65 is resistance, but 50 cents on that weekly crab at target 1, that's definite support. So keep an eye on that. I mean, it's done amazing things since the low at 25, but it's no Fetch or AGIX. Getting there. I think Ethereum and those related issues are going to start to seriously see a bid. They're already there. They're already moving. Couple others, things with patterns. Remember patterns, opportunities with patterns. This was like 2 weeks ago. We were looking at these. Here's Curve. And because it seemed like things had popped off. But then I was saying, all right, go for things like Curve here. Or the other one was Sand. There you go. Big patterns at 43. Go to 53. Let's see if they can really take off. Or is this going to come back for a type 2? A couple others that I think are starting to get their move. Here's H bar, folks, and we were on that. Remember with this shark at 7 cents? I think that's another fetch. And when you go out to the weekly chart or even the monthly chart, boy, you got a lot of recovery room. Lot of recovery room. So H bar, definitely. Oh, XRP? I thought we did that. XRP is 54. Just, I know. It's not fun, but it's still okay. The only problem with it is it's not another type of crypto, but you're sitting there off of a type 2, trying to get out of this downtrend. Look, it might be another month before that clears that downtrend for XRP. Looks like this. You need to get to here, to the right here. Again, that's like third week of March. Few others. Someone asked for ZIL. Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, just a couple things. Yeah, maybe. Talk for things that haven't run yet. ZIL, does it? I don't know. What's the volume look like? What's use case? Are there really people using it, or is this just a dead T coin? But probably worth the speculation. Nice recovery range. $20. You're at 2 cents. There's also something to be said for scanning and speculating these super low penny T coins. Let's go to one that I know we featured before, that if you're not on it, probably need to get it on your screen, is this Jasmy. All right. Don't touch it. Not yet, but looks like a huge move relative to last year. But then when you go out and you look at the weekly possible recovery range, this thing looks like it's just starting. And maybe those are the kind of things to be looking for at this point, where you've got stuff that's running already. That's a new, and I wouldn't say new, but it's a new event to definitely get it on the radar. And then still stuff like the immutable X's of the world. Looking for this to pull back on some 4-hour things like this, back in the 3 range, and for this stuff to continue what it's doing with just an amazing run. I mean, that's doubled off of that bat pattern. I'd rather have a 4-hour bat pattern, rather have a 4-hour pattern on something now. Here's loop ring, and I know that's had some patterns, just hasn't moved. Right at 25 cents. There you go. It's a shark, it's a bat. What was down there? Yeah, there's a few things. Stuff that hasn't moved yet, really moved. Here's Coty. I talked about that one. Had a 4-hour oversold, couple oversold around 9 cents. Can we do a return move? Or the other one that's been moving is Cartesi. 33. Yeah, that might be late. It's kind of chasing at that point. But some of these have really moved off of their patterns. One or two more. Just so we take it to heart, here's Zcash. This was something nobody wanted. People were like, Zcash, why would you look at that at 19? Well, that hit 30 yesterday. So a whole lot of type 2s, and if that is the low or major low, you got a lot of recovery. I would be looking at stuff like that. There still are a lot of patterns here. Great to see everybody. What's up? Mitch Ray's in the house. Great to see you, Mitch. How you been? Genghis Khan, Toro 32, JD, Jewelry Affairs, David, Art, Red Knight, John. You know, David, we need to talk about that psychology topic of discussion at some point. I'll hit you up. You really got my brain rolling on that of like, you know, especially now, especially with everything getting crazy, only going to get crazier. How are you going to navigate? Here's storage looking really nice with this higher low pretty much put in. That was the end of January. So again, there's a lot of things here. Storage with some daily oversold readings here at around 60 cents. 4-hour chart. I thought this had the shark. Yeah, bullish shark though. Keep an eye on all of that. Total index. So I said this last time, and I think it's going to become increasingly important in the next several weeks. What's going to happen up on the total index? All right, can we hold this high level, basically 530 billion on total 3? This is your T-coin index, where the weekly, check it out, continues the march up to target 1. Because you're above the XA level, that's beautiful. You know, you popped out literally in the fall and you held it, and now not only the breakout last week, but an important continuation really would set it off to confirm what happened last week. And then you shoot the gap. I mean, you shoot the gap on the total index where target 1 gets hit really soon. You know, 8-10 weeks. That would be a big development. I really can't underestimate how big and how close that is to getting confirmed. Look at what's going on with HSI. Heading back up into the above the 50 level, going for another return. Same with amplified. So listen, as long as you stay up in here, a bullish candle close, you're holding weekly lows, you are in that spot where between now and say April, it's up every week. It's a continuation follow through every week. So total 3 index, that move last week getting confirmed. Total index, number 1, that's ridiculously strong on the weekly. Just continues bar over bar, week over week. You're 1.9. You're not worried about 2 trillion. At this point, it's 2.1, and then it's 2.6 or 2.7. That's the 886 all time. And that's really happening, I think, sooner than later. Look, there's no pullback there. There's just, you have some dots. Your all-time 618 is 212. You're at 1.9 right now. That's where you're going. And it's the same thing as when we hit the 382 level at 1.6. And I was talking about how important that area was to the larger trend. Like if we could hold and continue, then we would shoot to the 50, which we've blown through. And then the 618, which is, call it 210, call it 213. So it's there. I mean, it's just, in the same way, look at the last cycle. And this is really the kind of the model to look for any major weekly retracement. But there's the bear market. Okay, last cycle at the 44 level was your B point. And normally we'd look at the 382. There's your first point. So technically that was a 382 rejected immediately. But tell me about the 50. What happens on the 50? You hit it and you continue. The 618. And if you do that and blow through the 618, it's like there, then you assume the 886. And 886 is like, sorry, like there. That's what we're doing now. We'll worry about the bigger possibilities later, but we're already seeing this kind of behavior. You're seeing that at the major levels where it's just hit it, pause for a day, straight on through. So 618. Hold on. Sorry, guys. I lost you for a second. I'm saying we're going to 2 trillion. Over 2 trillion really soon. Stay with that. Couple others. Where is, sorry, want to just pull up Coinbase. There you go, Coinbase. Software is kicking out on Coinbase even after earnings. Okay, we have completed the T2, no confirmation. We're 168, but check it out. All right, we're at the 50 level. If we continue even a little bit higher, I'm not worried about this pattern just yet. I'm looking more like 205. So after earnings, they threw it down. There you go. A little post-earnings reaction. But I'm still favoring 200 bucks minimum Coinbase. And then go to the monthly. Here's another, when you're talking about recovery ranges. Here's the whole IPO range. Do the same thing. Monthly chart. Incredible. 400 to 40. All-time 618 is like 280. And then where you are right now is not even a 382. So be aware. Well, 382 was like 185. So that's fair to say, okay, talk to me about 185, 190. Little pause, rejection so far. Yeah. Like right there. Break out above that 382, then you continue. And that's what MicroStrategy looks like it's doing. Check this out. Where is it? Let me just put it in. Because I think that one will clear once Bitcoin gets above. I think it'll clear. Now, MicroStrategy, despite being up 40 bucks today, is generating a 4-hour HSI. It's in a really critical spot that kind of breakout move, that's a complex structure. Today, literally day one. So if you were looking for a launch pad, today's it. Today, off that 4-hour chart, is a place to start looking for MicroStrategy to do something bigger. Where's the weekly? There you go. A couple things weekly. Weekly's up there. Where was the other? Hold on. I had something bigger on this. Here's the monthly. Yeah, looking for it to do the move now to break above that resistance, basically, which has been 700. You're here at the 50 level. Again, we're looking for first stop 618, which was 850, but the all-time 886, which is what we're playing for literally this year, 1175, 1200. Go back and retest the 2020 886. And you're seeing it. I mean, check it out. What's the price action look like? Is that expanding? We've had a lot of 100-point swings, 200-point swings along the way, but that's a steady uptrend. Just continuing to ride that with much higher targets, like targets that are double. Couple others. Ethereum Classic, sure. Ethereum Classic, it's probably going to be a big breakout, just like it was at 30. Nothing changes on that. Their monthly chart looks good. Weekly, holding the 50 on HSI. I just think this is will have individual big weeks, pause, and then climb out of this hole. But I think this is one of the better crypto with, remember, you got big weekly butterfly right here. And it's another pattern situation of time. Can you be patient with this pattern as it continues to develop while others go insane? You have a pretty clear idea within this framework. 39 and 53.93. It's a type 2, no doubt. Look, T2 went on all the way back here, November 22. Then hit the hop back in May, starting to move. It's a double off the low just in the last year. So, so far so good. It's just a patience thing. Probably we're looking for stuff. Really, at this point, we're looking for those daily HSI oversolds with 4-hour patterns. That's not going to change. Here's Cosmos. So daily, interesting patterns. And this one's coming back down where you are 1 point away from a type 2. So don't tell me there's no patterns. We have patterns. Cosmos. And the thought thing to keep in mind is that the allocation cycle has been going from coin to coin to coin, sector to sector, gaming to AI to financial to meme coins, whatever. So it's jumping, not all moving at the same time. What we've seen with a lot of the patterns give you the type 2. And it's easy to look at that type 2 and be like, all right, nothing's happening here. Why am I even bothering? And then it goes and skies. I'll show you one that did that very situation. The graph. Remember this? Okay, remember this shark pattern at 14? We talked about it a couple of weeks ago. What do you guys think? I mean, it was massive. It still is massive. And the graph, I know, puke over here because that's 5 cents. And now it's 30. It's not easy. How can you sit on a penny stock for that long to catch it? That's what you have to do. That's what we all have to do. Okay, it's not a penny stock, it's crypto. But with the crypto price recovery possibilities, GRT has a long way to go. And that's what we're thinking about this whole crypto model, that, folks, we're so close to this thing starting. It's like being at Disneyland and having to go through those long lines and then finally getting there, waiting in line for like 2 hours for a 7-minute ride or 5-minute ride. And it's a great ride and you love it and you'll go sit in line again. Yeah, that's what we're doing. GRT 382 is $1.25. What do you think about that? Big stuff. Also, interestingly enough, HSI, this arrow generated, that was 2 weeks ago. And we've seen that in a number of different issues. Things that we really should pay attention to. Well, Jasmy had all of that and more. It was a 4-hour. No, it wasn't Jasmy. It was What was it? Oh, it was all those AIOZ and CASPA. Yeah, like it was AIOZ and AGIX. Oh, that was on the weekly, daily stuff like that. Even things like stuff like A0, okay, bat pattern on the daily. This is something, T coin, yes, patterns, definitely. And that's after a sizable move, from 60 to 180. We get the pullback with the pattern. There you go. Few more. Gala, sure. Look at Filecoin. That's amazing. Gala rocking another, remember? The daily pattern, 2 cents, 210. Come on back to 350. And we're not even out of the hole yet. I mean, you go back to Gala, this could be another one where it hasn't even moved. There are a bunch of these that are stabilizing, haven't moved. So it could be a place to be looking. Here's another one. I put this to my group, FXS. And you are, where was it? Hold on. It is it did the move. No. I see what it is. It's right here at $8. And I think it's a 4-hour. Where's my pattern? Let me come back to this one. Thought I had that lined up. No. One or two more. Here's helium, HNT. And I bring it up for just the whole weekly chart of it where, boy, price recovery for this kind of a thing has a long way to go. And this is a beautiful basing formation at $1, now $9. I know that's kind of difficult to say, all right, there's an opportunity. But I got to say, this first thrust and then the corresponding breakout, which just happened in the last week or two, pretty significant continuation. No pattern there. Not on the weekly, but the daily, yeah. The daily had some looking left. $4, 230, stuff like that. I mean, it's these were tough patterns to hit on the bottom. What's not tough that I would be looking for is stuff like this on helium. So helium has a butterfly, but how many of these have done the type 1 reaction, give some kind of oversold continuation, and then do an explosive return move? That's what we should be looking for there. I think, what did that? I think Immutable X did that recently. Was it a 4-hour? I think it was on a 4-hour. Maybe Injective, one of those eyes. Was a breakout. No. I'll show you another one. I'll show you a couple. Well, the graph was actually one that comes to mind. Here's Kusama. Yeah, I'm just reaching for anything at this point. But this is another one. It's a short-term bearish pattern. Let's get the reaction. Let's get a pullback. And then remember, dot. This one had a dot last week at around 30, 35 on the daily. And look at the price recovery range. I mean, this is the other thing to consider. Where's the pattern? What's the price recovery possibility? Because here you've got Kusama with a ton of patterns at 58, 60, crazy hop level at 20, somewhere between there. But if it breaks out like we're starting to see in a lot of these, the target ones are, it's like Fetch when Fetch was at 20 cents and now it's $1.20. Couple more. Couple more. I got to get back to futures. Near protocol. I think that was another 4-hour time frame. Yeah, butterfly right here. Another possibility, you're 325. This is near protocol. But if it came back to the XA level, that would be a major type 2. So remember, 4-hour time frame, absolutely. Daily oversolds, great triggers. One or two more that to just highlight that are looking like continuation. Where is Tia? There's sand. SCI. SCI is one that's been talked a lot about. That just ran into a type 2. Haven't looked at SHIB forever and don't really care to. SHIB and Doge, you know, I don't think that's where it's happening. And besides, those are already, their market caps are already too big. Here's Scale Network. This could be another one like some of those that have popped off like H-bar. You know, a big recovery range to happen there. You're at 8 cents. Daily, looks like that. What was, look at Super Micro is up 230 freaking points right now. That's amazing. That is amazing. We're at new highs on the day, folks. QQQ at 437.60. What a way to go, man. Mitch, you probably want to go live at this point. It's probably like, Scott, get off. I want to do an important live stream. Hey, if Bitcoin was pumping, that would be the only thing that need to happen. Here's Tia, folks. This is what I'm going to leave you with. Oh, Chili's is beautiful now, right? Chili's is the definition of delayed reaction. But here's Tia. 4-hour pattern, bat. Let's get ready. Let's get ready to rumble. Okay, that's oversold now. Keep an eye on that. That's a type 1. The daily, not. Look, it's like this, and the daily hasn't popped out yet, but boy, all of the ingredients we have been talking about, daily oversold, 4-hour pattern. So Celestia, folks, somewhere down in the 17 move. Okay, under 1750, as low as 1647. I think pretty close. Chili's because, okay, that's an old-time favorite, but let it be a lesson. Let it be an example of what we have to endure to get from A to B or X to D. Okay, it's now 13. Remember this thing? We were cursing it at 7 and 5 because 11 cents was where we were looking for the original completion, and it was just one we were have to suck wind on. Well, now it's coming back. And it's, you know, let me get a better long-term. There you go. I mean, Chili's has got massive price recovery potential, even at 13. And now it happens. So look, the whole thing about what's going on currently, we know the patterns have already formed. A lot of them have done massive moves. Others that haven't moved and they have patterns, they're probably going to begin. You got the halving coming up in 4 weeks, 6 weeks tops. You're in the sweet spot for crypto longs. You just have to line up your stuff, take hold, and ride. And we're going to ride it for the summer. We're going to ride all of this stuff. Look, remember what I was saying on Super Micro? Let me just circle back to stocks. This is, and you want to see the whole market be crazy. You want to see a euphoric speculation market to get crypto to be just another asset class in a crazy year. That's what's going on. I mean, Super Micro, SMCI, if that pops off, okay, that's just a prime example of something have gone parabolic, about to go more parabolic. I mean, look at the weekly chart. That's going parabolic, or it has gone parabolic, but that can go a lot higher. That's what I'm saying. And when with this other crypto stuff really taking off, I really think that Coinbase and MicroStrategy, if Bitcoin pops off, I think MicroStrategy could do something like that. But you got a lot of work to get from there to here or to here. But you're there. You're like right on the edge where you're not going to have to wait. You don't have to wait a day anymore. Ride crypto or ride a zero turn? No, ride crypto or McDonald's drive-through. I think at this point you'll make it where you won't have to do the drive-through. Like you just get through this year. Same goes with the Qs and the SPYs, to ride them all to their 1618s. Get from here to there. See it through, and then you all get on to the other side. That's what we're doing. That's the objective for this year. Let's save the rest for next time, okay? Folks, have a great weekend. Listen, did I even do it? No. Get over to Harmonic Trader. Get over to Harmonic Trader and get with the software and become a basic member. I did want to say that we're going to do definitely a pre-halving webinar. So let me announce that next week. It's going to be probably mid-March, maybe around the 21st or the 15th. But I'll announce details next week. Just get over Harmonic Trader, get the free trial, send your username to hpc@sr-analyst.com. But more information on that, and get over the basic members to really get started with resources. Okay, catch you on Tuesday. Great week, great session. Until then, as always, go get them. We'll see you on Tuesday.